and plant treatments. So there are some common ones like fermented fruit juice, which will also, and other fermented products that are used to capture the beneficial microbes and then from plants and minerals. And these microbes, they produce the enzymes to break down organic material and help with the nutrient uptake by plants. So microbes and enzymes. And the last one is nutritive cycle theory. I think most of you know this already. So nutritive cycle theory in KNF is also um, how you focus or target specific nutrients for each growth stage of your crops. So we'll touch the there you go. Okay. So nutritive cycle theory, as you can see here, nitrogen, it's nitrogen and phosphorus, potassium. Those are the three big plant nutrients for any crops, right? So in early seedling stage, they need phosphorus and potassium high to grow their roots and germinate. In vegetative stage, nitrogen is very needed in high amounts. In flowering stage, phosphorus and potassium again. And then fruiting and seeding also needs potassium and phosphorus again. So this KNF um, focuses on each that acknowledges that each stage of growth, you need specific different types of nutrients. So you can target better growth and better health for the plants. So getting back to Korean natural farming more, so what is the history of it? So natural farming actually has been practiced for centuries in not just Korea, but many countries, especially in Asia. Um, in those days, there were harsh environments and limited resources. And then they needed more crops, more yields of the crop, for their families. So natural farming, it's been practiced to use whatever they could find, whatever they could provide, nutrients in the soil and for more yields of the crop. So early practitioners, they buried food scraps in soil to break them down and to provide nutrients to the plants. Or food scraps are just fermented first and then dumped in the field. Since we're talking about Korean natural farming, in historically in Korea, we use something that's called onggi. As you can see here, it's earthenware crocks, Korean earthenware crocks. It's been used for fermentation. Oh, oops. Yes, for kimchi too. For fermentation because of its insulating properties and then its ability to regulate, have consistent humidity levels. So this is perfect for fermentation. So not only kimchi, we use for gochujang, which is spicy chili paste, and soybean paste or soy sauce. And not just those condiments, we also use that to ferment what we call enzymes or hyoso. Actually, my dad still has, I think five of these ongis to ferment his own enzymes. So these big ones are used for more of those like fruit juices, which we also call juices, while the smaller ones, or regardless of sizes, whatever you want, for each uses. But yeah, my dad puts like wild grapes and was mulberries or those kind of fruits in these pots or in these crocks and then ferment it over time. And then he is very, very proud of this because he's been doing it for 5 years at least. And then he says it's been fermenting for 5 years. And then this is as as time goes on, the microbes and the enzymes will be even richer and richer. And then this will be just even better and better quality. So yes, Koreans have been using this to ferment stuff, and then even with even now, there are some Korean farmers that uses these to make those enzymes or enzymic juice from fruits, or even purslane, the weeds that grow on the ground. People say it's really high in omega-3, so they've been um, making enzyme out of those in those cracks. Next one is, so why is it called Korean natural farming? So we'll look into the history. This is Cho, which people also call him Master Cho. So he popularized the natural farming method, or Korean, that is now called Korean natural farming. As you can see, he's Korean, and he made all the farming knowledges that was passed down generations in Korea, and then he wrote it down. Um he made it into a concept. He wrote it down. But even before he popularized it, actually this method has been existing for many, many years. Um Not just in Korea, again, in other countries as well. So it's kind of funny because actually I've never ever heard Korean natural farming in my life, before coming here and before studying agriculture in the United States. Because we don't call it Korean natural farming. We don't even call it natural farming because that's just the way of farming. So at the least, I think we could have called it just farming methods. But these days, because of the increase in chemical inputs, now we will call it natural farming or organic farming. So, so how did he get to develop all these more specific and concrete methods? So it was so he wanted to make it into a concrete method because to change the chemical based and farming methods that are being practiced in Korea. So while he was studying in Japan for 3 years about agriculture, he also learned about the natural farming methods of Japan. And so when he was coming back, he combined his newly acquired knowledge with whatever the traditional farming methods and fermentation methods in Korea. And here he learned this concept of bokashi. Bokashi is translated into fermented organic matter from Japanese. So this is a fermentation-based composting method that originated in ancient Japan and Korea. So he combined all his knowledge from Japan and all the traditional farming methods that was being practiced in Korea. And then now he popularized it as Korean natural farming. So all in all, basically it's the Korean natural farming, or some cultures call it enzyme farming. It it is a modernized horticultural method of bokashi, which is fermenting fermented organic matter. Hankyu Cho Master Cho, he actually passed away this year in January, leaving us the legacy of his spread of natural farming methods. Okay, so let's dive into bokashi composting more. So fermented organic matter. So you can use food scraps or any organic materials coming from your farm or anything. So why it's a little different from the traditional composting. While the traditional composting is a mixture of green materials high in nitrogen, brown materials high in carbon, and air and water, right? But bokashi composting, it's more of a fermentation. So it is anaerobic composting without air. Um, so Yes, so you ferment it and then you take the juice or you just bury it in the ground. This is a picture that my team visited. It's a Korean jujube farm in Lucerne Valley, which is in high desert of Southern California. So food scraps, and they put also unmarketable fruits that was prematurely dropped um or moldy. So yeah, those fruits as they drop, they let me show you the picture. So they gather it in this one pile, and then they right now it's modernized, so they use the 5 gallon bucket from Home Depot or wherever and put them with you can put just really anything, your like discarded food scraps or leaf mold. And here in it is jujubes. So you put them down in the bucket and then you ferment it first. And then you can, as you can see on the third picture, so that's a mixture of leaves, I think onion skin, and then jujubes inside. So after this, you can put it, you can bury it in the ground like you saw in here, or you can just take the juice out of it and spray it in on your farm as well. Um, yes, so natural farming inputs. So what are the farming inputs that you can put in natural farming or Korean natural farming? The first one is indigenous microorganisms. It's also called IMO. There are many abbreviations coming in Korean natural farming or natural farming slides, so bear with me. That is IMO is made by attracting local microorganisms from your environment, typically using rice as a medium. So the idea here is to harvest the local microorganisms from the environment to introduce them back into your soil. Um, Also, these two pictures, they are also from another farm that's been using jujubes as their fertilizer. So as you can see, the lid is closed, so it's bokashi for composting with some jujubes and some other food scraps. And and then the other ones are fermented materials like fermented plants, juice from fermented plants, fermented fruits, herbs, fish, seawater, eggshell, and mixed compost. Those were originally those have been used in natural farming in Korea. Okay, so what is the process of making the IMO? So, Master Cho, he introduced these in his book as 4 steps. So first, so IMO 1, 2, 3, 4. So originally, what Master Cho in his book explains is that you can spread steamed rice in a micro-rich area, like forest floor, for back then in Korea. But if you're in on farm setting, then you can do mulching area or under tree, your roots. And then after a few days, you'll see that the rice has attracted microorganisms, seeing it moldy. Then you combine the rice with molasses or sugar to feed the microbes, and then allow it to ferment more, creating a solution rich in local microbes, which is indigenous microorganisms. So making IMO is about capturing the local microorganisms to use them to improve your soil health. And then these microorganisms are applied to the soil to enhance microbial diversity. Um, so if you want to have a specific method, or if you want to learn about the specific methods of making your own IMO, you can look into one of his first apprentices of Master Cho's apprentice, Chris Trump, and he made this website called Biomay Natural Solutions, or his YouTube channels for to make it. But Now it's like it's made it into methods or it's more modernized, but actually back when it was back in the days, back in Korea, this all these methods didn't really existed. So it was just you would just throw away your food scraps or anything, probably steamed rice because we ate a lot of rice, or um you would throw that in the bushes and then you'll just let it sit and then you wouldn't even care about it. And then later after you see like it's fermented or it's getting moldy and it's having more like, oh, okay, this looks like it's ready. And then people will put it in the field, bury it, um, not really knowing when it's ready. It's just because people didn't really have time. So as you try to make this IMO back in the day with that when the concept of IMO didn't even exist, they would just toss it and then let it sit and then let it just decompose and then oh, okay, it looks ready, okay, we have some time and then they would put it in the ground. So yeah, it's a different way of now it's like more modernized and then different way of achieving the IMO. Okay, now we're gonna get into the fermented inputs. So fermented plant juice or fruit juice, they're the most well-known uh, Korean natural farming inputs. So they're made from fermenting plants and or sh or fruits with sugar. So the fermentation process extracts the valuable nutrients and beneficial compounds from the plant's sap, which can be sprayed onto the crops or the soil to improve their health and growth. So after fermenting it, it'll be an enzyme-rich solution, full of microorganisms like lactic acid or amino acids, um, bacteria and yeast. Uh, Fermented fruit juice, also it's the same as plant juice. Um, but this is also what we can call 효소, which means enzyme. So Korean farmers or um Korean farmers here and then the Korean farmers in Korea, we never really called fermented fruit juice or fermented plant juice because it's just we call it enzymes, which is the Korean word on top, which is 효소. Because it's enzyme rich solution. So we would just call sorry, um we would just call enzymes. This is a good example of enzyme or fermented fruit juice. Another farm with another barrel, they put it there. They put the jujube there and then they would let it sit. And then if you want to ask how long it has been or how long do you have to ferment it to use it? Like like I said, as long as you want, as long as you it's we think it's more and more nutrients as the day or as the time goes by, even more. So Um, I think that juice has been there for like at least 3 years. And then some people, not this solution, but there is we also make ume enzyme. So you ferment ume and make ume extract with sugar. And then we asked one farmer who he gave me this ume extract, and then I was asking like, wow, how long has it been? Because I understand that like my dad, when he makes these enzymes, it has to be like sitting for a while, and then um the the longer it's been, the better, the more enzyme, more microbes, better for gut health. And then he said it was 15 years, and he was really, really proud of it. So, and I ate it, I drank it, and no problem. So, yeah, it's the natural farming method or fermenting um I think we think it's just put it there and then forget about it for years. Then it's gonna be better. Oh, for the fermented fruit juice or plant juice enzymes, um they after that, after fermenting, they're very high in potassium, as you can see, potassium and calcium. And so this can be used with the nutritive cycle theory. This can be used like in flowering or um fruiting stages more or early seedling stages. These pictures are from Master Cho's the natural farming book. He explains some ways to make this soil treatment solutions. Another famous one is fish amino acid. It's fermented solution made from fish. So when, like in the old days, when you have any scraps of fish, like bones or um like head, I think some people eat heads, but like guts or whatever you don't eat, you will ferment it. It's a great value to both plants and soil and in your microorganisms in your soil for growth. Um, as you can see, it's very high in nutrient content of it's the FAA, very high in nitrogen. So you can use this specifically for vegetative stage of the farm. And then the Oriental herbal nutrients. This one is fermenting herbs. So, like garlic, ginger, cinnamon, and then it will be fermented with beer or rice wine. It's high in nitrogen and potassium, so also you can use it in whatever those nutrients are needed. By the way, this study, this table was a research study by University of Hawaii of how nutrients can be high in KNF uh farming input. These are studied, but depending on the ingredients that you put in each solution, making each solutions, those contents can be varied. Next one is lactic acid bacteria, which people call it LAB. The ingredients are rice water, so that is when you wash your rice and then when you discard the water, that's what you use in this farming input. And then milk. It's high in lactic acid, amino acids, vitamins, enzymes, and organic acids. Uh, so actually, lab is not really high in the traditional plant nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, but their presence can enhance the soil, nutrient cycling, improve microbial health and diversity, and then contribute to overall health of the plants. Okay, next one. This is a little newer. This is developed by Dr. Cho. He's different from Master Cho. This is called Jadam Microbial or Microorganism Solution, or also called JMS. Maybe some of you knows so the JMS, some people sell JMS solutions. So if you want, you can buy it or you can make it. The main ingredients are potatoes, leaf mold, and seawater. And since seawater is not always available in all the areas, you can just put sea salt and water or filtered water to make it. Um, this is to promote soil health and then enhance nutrient availability and to support plant growth. Um, this after making it, you can apply directly after diluting it, of course, directly into the soil. Or you can spray it on top of your plants as foliar spray. to improve the plant's growth. Or also you can put it in your mulching pile or compost pile to quicken the composting or decomposition processes because it's really good for decomposition. It's also used for um, compact soil to help break down the soil to aerate it. Um, yeah, so that's JMS. So we talked about IMO, indigenous microorganisms, and other farming, KNF farming inputs. So what's the differences? So the primary focus for IMO is for soil, and the primary focus of the other KNF inputs will be the plants, more directly to the plants, and soil too, but plants. Their functions are um, so IMO is focused on enhancing soil health by introducing local beneficial microorganisms, which help break down organic materials. And then other KNF inputs, they're more um, designed to feed plants directly, to promote growth stimulation and then disease prevention, nutrient supplementation, so that the plants can get the necessary nutrients for growing stronger and healthier and more resilient. How it's made, again, rice, usually rice is medium or potato, something starchy, and local materials combined with molasses or sugar for fermentation, or fermentation of plant matter, fish, or other organic materials will be the KNF. Other inputs. The IMO will be applied directly to soil, while the other inputs can be applied to soil or on top of plants as a spray to help plant growth. So yes, so the key points are IMO focuses on soil building, soil structure building, fertility, microbial activity, microbial diversity, nutrient cycling, while other KNF inputs will be primarily for plant growth and targeting specific nutrients for the plants. They are different, but they work holistically, um, complementing each other and complementing each other. Okay, so we heard so many things about good benefits of the natural farming or enzyme farming, but there are definitely challenges. So let's dive into the benefits first again. So chemical, you can there's no chemical used in natural farming, which can also help biodiversity and microbial diversity, since there's no chemical to affect other organisms by promoting the plant health. And also it can improve soil structure and fertility, which can result in higher yield and quality. And also, as it also targets nutrients for plants, it can be also yield and quality. They also increase resistance to pests and diseases, and also reduce waste since you can use your food scraps for composting and making nutrients. Then what are the challenges? It's very, very time intensive, effort intensive. Back in the days, we did it because we could abandon it. You can just leave it on the side of the farm or forest floor, and forget about it. But right now, if you're making all this on your own, then it's gonna be very labor intensive too. And spending time while you can buy compost like right away. So that'll be time and effort intensive. And then you'll also need some knowledge and expertise since um if you want to really specifically target um each growth, then you'll need what to ferment, how long to ferment, or what rate in which ratio to dilute those solutions. So those will be needed and studied. And then for any operations, the initial setup will be a big challenge since it'll take up a lot of the cost and labor. The whole system will be different. So of course, in the end, the cost will be a lot. Um, since you're using not just your money to have all this input, but also your time, since time is money. So I would suggest this can be used for like smaller scale, maybe hobby, farming or gardening or small gardening. Or if you want to really put your effort into like regenerative farming, then I think you can do it. But for bigger scale farming, I think it'll be very challenging. Um, yes, but before we move into the next slide, just a second, because oh, we actually have another slide that I forgot to add, which is this one. Eh, sorry about that. Um, okay, we'll just do it like this. Okay, for the poultry, natural poultry farming. Wait, can you see? Sorry about that.
We can see it. We can see it.
Okay. So yes, so we talked a lot about plant farming, but in natural farming you can also do poultry farming. And for poultry farming, you can sorry. Um, so this one, you have to have all the needs of chickens in your mind when you're making the when you're farming chickens. So you have to provide them clean water, good amount of space for them to be comfortable. Um, natural feed, those all have to be in mind. And also, for Master Cho's The Natural Farming book, he has these some principles for the chicken farming for as a natural farming. So he says it has to be they have to be the floor should be in soil, not concrete, so that they can be naturally connecting or naturally have the soil as their natural environment. And also, you have to not artificially control um, the temperature because you can achieve that through um, having compost pile so that it can generate heat. So that is another poultry farming um, yes, principle in Korean natural farming. This was one of our farmers we visited. Yes, he was growing a really healthy uh group of chickens and really healthy eggs too. And yes, that is sorry about that. Oh, but yes, thank you. And that is all for my presentation.